Well, testing. Careful, careful. A lot of stuff. Oh my. Yes, we are live. Still waiting on people to calm down. The stream will be coming here in just a few. We are live. This is going to be starting just a teeny bit late. Everyone is filing in. We should have put this, if we were to be honest with ourselves, we shouldn't have started this at 6. this is when everybody's starting to roll in the door, so to speak. So this is going to take just a few. People are getting food and things like that. If you didn't know, the exhibitor reception, this is where the exhibitors, I guess at one point in time, and Mike will tell us more about the history behind this, but as far as I know, at one point in time, the exhibitors wanted a chance to kind of chat with each other. They didn't get a chance to go around and see each other's booths because they're busy talking to people. And, you know, they come to their own booths. And so the exhibitor reception was born. And so there is, I don't think you can see it. Well, let's turn this around. Oh. So you can see over here, right over here, we got some food. And there's even some more around the corner there. So once again, sorry, we're going to be starting just a minute here. Okay. Are you guys able to hear okay? Let's see. Let's turn you all. We're live. It's official. Can I hear you?
Can you hear me?
Josh, can we hear Josh? We can hear Josh.
Mike.
Can we hear Mike? Mike is... you need to bring the mic closer to you. There you go.
Mic check, mic check.
There we go. Well, we made it. We're here. It's MSC. How was your trip down here, Mike?
So it was actually pretty good. I was up doing a local NCSL up in Washington at Fluke's, and then I came down here after getting to tour the Boeing calibration lab up there. That's a very interesting setup they have with their anechoic chamber.
Interesting. You didn't tell me. I didn't know. This is a surprise to me. I didn't know you were just up in Washington. That's cool. Wow. So how was the NCSLI meeting?
It was very good. It was well attended, so that's a good thing. So had it at Fluke. We got to also tour the Fluke calibration lab, so it's interesting to see how they're setting up the 5560 calibration and how they've got 5500, 5520 calibration stations that they've had there for 20 years. Wow. And they've got hardware in there that's been there for 20 years, so it's very impressive.
A lot of data.
Yes.
A lot of data. And for those of you watching, probably don't recognize the other gentleman sitting with Mike. Josh, you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Josh Mitchell. Been in the metrology industry for about 10 years. Taken Ryan's school.
Oh. Good old sign calibration.
Including Train the Trainer this last year.
That's right. Josh, you have done quite a bit of our stuff. So you know the general, what would you call it? Course load. You've been through a lot of it. And now this year you're helping MSC.
Yeah.
How's your first MSC going for you?
It's busy, but it's been good.
Yeah, especially today when all this stuff gets thrown in here. I know on the camera. So if you hear grinding behind me, you can see behind. What is it he's making again, Mike?
So MSC has done a long tradition of turning pins, so people can come in and buy pins, and we're raffling off a lot of these pins. So they're custom-made wood pins. So
you can see it. You can see the smoke.
Yep.
Coming off of the lathe behind me.
So yeah, we've been doing this for many years. I think as long as I can remember. So probably more than 20 years. We do these in the hallway, and then we've moved it into the exhibit hall here. So people can see what's going on. And
same with like behind you. There's people might wonder, hey, there's a car behind Schwartz. What's up with the car?
Yep. So John Bowman, he's part of the local classic car club. So if we need to fill some space in here to make the event look complete, we can bring in some cars, and we try to bring in a lot of classic cars. So there's been. I can't think of a year that we didn't have some kind of a classic car on the floor. So,
yeah, and a lot of metrology goes into making a car. Hello, I mean you can't deny that.
Yep. Last year he brought out one of the junior engineers who was working with the DeLorean, and we had a presentation on them on what they were doing when they were bringing DeLoreans into the country. So we had that presentation, so that was really good. And then we had at ITS 10, we had I believe it was a Ford, so an old 1900s Ford, or early 1900s Ford on the floor. So that was really nice. Got a nice picture of everybody around it.
Yeah, wasn't that also the year there was a mobile calibration van?
Yep.
Yeah, that was the ITS 91 too.
Yep, we had QRS out there. They brought in a mobile calibration lab. I was trying to find one this year. So I found a mobile calibration lab that had free time so they could come in. They had no calibration scheduled, but they were too far across the country to bring us something in. And then I found another lab who's local, so it's not a cost to drive across the country. But with them, they had scheduled calibrations. So they didn't want to give up the calibration work to come into the show. So
it's like I always say, the calibration's like the mail; it doesn't ever stop.
Yep. But if somebody has a calibration van they want to bring out to next year's MSC, reach out to me, because if we can get a car on the floor, a cal van on the floor, they make great tours.
Yeah. You hear that, all of you out there? If you want to get some good marketing for your on-site company, you can do that, right? So what else is I think we're gonna have Galen on. Or is he around?
Yeah, Galen was working on getting a booth set up, so we have a photo booth that'll do a 360 picture of you. So
Nice.
so it'll go all the way around you, and so that's an interesting thing. It's on one row over, so
We'll have to. So we have a mobile camera today. That's what this one that Mike and Josh are on right now. It moves. We'll have to take that over there so people can kind of see what's going on with it. That will be cool.
yep. And there's a lot of things that go into putting on an event like this. I mean, we've got a large committee, and everybody works together to bring these things together, and it's when it runs perfect, it runs like a Swiss watch. But every now and then, it takes a lot to get all the wheels to turn and everything to come together.
Yeah.
So this year has been a very, very good year. We've had a couple hiccups, but there's been nothing major. All the exhibitors are set up. The badges. We had the badges and stuff ready. So it's been very good.
And this is a lot of activity. Obviously, Exhibitor Day is probably unmatched in the activity level. But classes have been going on for what, 2 days now?
Yeah, 2 days now. The exhibitors actually started at 6 o'clock in the morning, getting the stuff in here to get the exhibitors set up. So they started at 6 o'clock this morning trying to get through security and whatnot. And then most of the classes are going to start around 8 o'clock. So now we've got to have food out, 7:30, so we can feed everybody going to the classes at 8 o'clock.
Right,
So
yeah.
breakfast and coffee, that's all got to get set up with the events coordinator here.
You don't want to start training without coffee. You're gonna have some problems.
Yep. And then this is the first year for Josh, so he's kind of learning some of the ropes. And then next year I'm going to feed him to the wolves because he's going to be the exhibits coordinator.
Uh-oh.
So-
Good luck, Josh.
Yeah, I'm ready for the challenge.
So, yeah, because with the classes when they start, is it Sunday that they all start?
So the classes started on Monday.
Oh, on Monday. Okay.
Right. So, but we're going to come in. So we've got to be here Sunday. So we'll come in Sunday and
Got
we'll
it.
start doing bag stuffing. We'll start getting all the Monday badges printed out. Right. So people who have a 4-day pass, we want to get those 4-day passes out, and then Monday only passes. So yeah, it takes a lot to get that put together.
And then today you had a keynote speaker. We had a schedule. Do we still have that schedule around, Josh?
Yes, I do.
That's because who was the keynote speaker today? I didn't get to hop over there.
Josh, quick with the paper, because wait a minute, it was Kennedy. So John C. Kennedy was the keynote speaker today. I remember that because, he's related to a pretty famous president,
Oh yeah.
or not related, but the same name.
Okay. For a second, I was like, "What?" So what does he represent?
So I didn't get to see 100% of his presentation, but he works with the water quality. So,
Oh, yeah.
So in Colorado, we clean the water and we pump it upriver, and then it comes back downriver and comes into our normal drinking system.
Mm-hmm.
So here in California, I thought it was quite interesting that they'll clean the water, and then they'll pump it down into the aquifers,
Oh, okay.
and then it'll come up through the aquifers. So I thought that was a pretty interesting way to clean water.
I always say the keynote speakers sometimes surprise me because like that one that was the L.A. Weights and Measures
Yep.
chairman guy, like that was really interesting. I didn't realize they were so actively pursuing fraud
Yeah.
that they are. Like that is a main thing that they're doing, and I think that's really cool. So what else is interesting? What have you seen anything that's caught your eye, Josh, out there on the floor?
Out here? Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Aditel and Fluke and Miatis have some interesting setups.
Oh, yeah.
With their calibrators, high-end calibrators. Aditel has a new barometer out on the floor, and their I think 800 series bath will be coming out with soon.
Yeah, the stirred one or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to have some of the over the next. I don't think tonight, but over the next 2 days, we're going to have some of the exhibitors on to chat about their stuff. Aren't we doing some focuses on sponsors as well, Mike?
Yes. So we definitely want to highlight on our sponsors. So a little bit later, I'm going to walk around and we'll see what sponsors have new things they want to introduce at MSC. But I'm curious. This is your first show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So coming out to these trade shows. So what's your impression?
I think it's really good. I think there needs to be more of a presence from the industry and more support for these shows. It gives much needed training in a way that's often overlooked by many in the industry. So I think it's just, needs to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when you mention that, like the participation, because you'll see a lot of times governmental or government contracting here, but like I would like to see a lot more individual labs, like commercial labs. The ones that are actually out there in the daily manufacturing, making making an impact out there.
Mm-hmm.
Anything? So you hopped into. I know you were mentioning that you were in what was it, the NIST, or someone that was previously at NIST talking uncertainty. So that's definitely a different level of uncertainty, right?
Yeah, I caught the tail end of the presentation. I was busy today doing different things, but I could see the value being able to attend these presentations.
Yeah.
Whether you're new or, been in the industry for a while. Even, Danny was over here earlier talking about being able to attend that presentation again. You wish he could have.
Yeah. 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 See, that's something that we should look at, Mike. Some of those presentations or classes, we should do some sort of where we can record them and put them under a paywall or something, like a membership, so people can view them.
Yeah, we've thought about that. It's just the logistics of doing that becomes very, very, very complex. So hopefully we can get to that at some point.
Yeah.
So I've seen some organizations, that's what they'll do, is they'll put all those presentations under a paywall, and then you can come in and grab the ones that you haven't been able to see.
Yeah, I never really pieced that together because, you go to NCSLI, but that has a membership aspect to it, where MSC really doesn't.
No, we don't have a membership.
What is the I don't know if I even know, what was the genesis of MSC? Like,
we would have to grab John, who's behind you turning the pins. So he's our MSC historian.
oh, okay,
So
there you
he's
go.
the guy who knows all the history, and we'll reach back to him time and time again. So
Yeah, because it's curious, because it makes sense, because things like A2LA or whatever, they have conferences you have to go to if you're an assessor.
yep.
Like you have to go to one of them or something like that, right? So that I'm just curious how MSC started. Like, was there some sort of need that was being filled? I guess just probably obviously the historian is behind me,
Yeah.
but
Well, if I remember right, so the organization was started because there was a bunch of manufacturers who wanted to start, bringing a group together, to start talking about their products and things that they're doing, and just like any other show, that's what they wanted to do. I know that they started over at the Queen Mary, and then they got bigger and bigger and bigger till, now we're, at Disneyland, when we team up with with another event. We need even more space sometimes.
right.
So, but there was, the early or the late 90s and the early 2000s when I started. There was
There's Galen.
Yep, there's Galen.
Here, Josh, let him hop on that one.
Sounds good.
Thanks for coming on. Josh is going to be on quite a bit through the next 2 days, so don't worry. Josh will get plenty of camera time. So, thanks, Josh.
All right, well,
Hop on there.
oh, no, you're fine.
So hopping on now is if you're one of our podcast followers, then you already know who this is. This is the president of this year's MSC. Make sure you got the Josh. Help him with the mic.
Gotta pull the mic up.
Higher?
Yeah, you want it fairly close.
Oh my gosh. Oh, got it.
There we go. Too bad you don't have one of these ones that. I have a third one, but it doesn't fit on the table for some reason.
Oh,
There we go.
all right.
Galen, we made it.
Made it.
We're here.
We're here. I'm excited.
All the work and everything behind. So does it feel like a relief when you get to this point, or is it after it's all done, when you're at the committee dinner on Thursday?
I think Thursday will be the day
Sure.
I get to relax more.
Sure. I heard you were just rolling up the sleeves a little bit and building some booths and stuff just now.
No. I was just helping out the 360 photo booth guy.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So I'm really excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna take the mobile camera over there so that people can see what that looks like. Or have you done it yet?
I was the first one. I tested it out. Looks like a lot of fun.
I don't understand though. Again, we'll show it and we'll try and demonstrate what this is, but it's just like a 360 picture of yourself, like a hologram type thing.
I don't know. It depends on your certain generation. Some people might be more into it than others. It's like a TikTok thing where it like spins around you and slows down at certain
Kind of like the
points.
Matrix.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
okay.
then it goes with
I'm
music
into
and
it.
you're having a good time. They do this at the Oscars, and they
Do they got some like micrometers and stuff over there to make it very metrology?
They have the music science. What? Yeah, I can't
Weird
think of
science?
it. Work science? Can you
No,
sing it?
weird science.
Yes, I think that's what it is.
Weird science. It's electric like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what else? So how was your trip? You're out here though, so it
I am
wasn't
local. It wasn't too bad.
Are you the only one not local, Mike?
Oh no.
No. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I know that's one of the things you like to have is your committee members somewhat local.
It's been primarily a local show, and we're trying to expand nationally. So it's good to expand so that we have Don, obviously from the East Coast.
Right.
Mike represents, the Rockies, and Tom is also out in the East Coast. So we would like to expand more nationally, bring in a more national and international audience. But it's been a primarily 90% local show.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I notice you're repping the Northrop Grumman shirt.
Yes.
So you guys also have a booth here. Do you guys like recruit at these? Or?
Well, Northrop Grumman has had a booth, and we've been a long time supporter of MSC. So there's several past presidents that were from Northrop Grumman. And what we do here is we sell our excess capacity. In this case, it's excess calibration capacity to third parties. And that's
Interesting.
what we're selling. We also sell like radiation. It takes a lot to do some of the things we do, and so it takes a lot of capital and a lot of funding and facilities to build these giant projects, and they aren't utilized 24/7. So we try to sell that excess capacity to fill in the downtime.
Got it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that's really cool. So I shouldn't just keep walking by and dropping my resume on the ground or anything.
Well, you can do that too. We're still hiring.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good.
We love to. We're hiring. Always looking for talented folks, but primarily we're here to sell our excess capacity in calibration, radiation, chemistry, material testing, antenna testing, probably specialty testing, anything related to satellite testing. We have that capability.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Now, I asked you a lot of your experience with MSC when you were on the podcast, but do you remember back to your first MSC?
I do.
I can't remember. Was it with Northrop?
Yes. It's been, it was with Northrop. I think it was at Disney. I'm pretty sure it was at Disney now that I think about it. And I was taking load cell training with Toby. And that was when we just got one of the new automated load cell calibrators. And we didn't quite, my predecessor at Northrop didn't quite know what they were getting into. So my boss said, hey, go out there and find out all that you can about load cells and get this thing going.
Oh,
This
wow.
is like first 6 months on the job or so.
Oh,
in the
easy
Cal Lab.
job, right?
Yeah. So I picked it up, and here I am now.
Isn't that funny that is a not unheard of experience in calibration and in like many different activities out there? Like they'll just kind of throw people into things and patchwork together the training, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It is kind of an odd thing. Well, but I'm glad that we're here. So, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to here in the next day or so?
I'm just looking and seeing all the excited attendees come by and get their training and making sure they're having a good time, getting all their knowledge transfer going. Looking forward to all the supporting volunteers. We have a lot of industry experts coming in, sharing their knowledge, and our stillness courses going on. And we have really good keynote speakers. gentleman tomorrow will be talking about management styles and how to improve management styles. And then on Thursday, we'll be talking about Disney Forward. I think it's the next phase of the Disneyland project that they have in mind.
Oh,
And so that would be really interesting. The President's reception should be fun time as always. We will have a casino night, parties and games and raffles.
is there karaoke this time? I can't remember.
I was kind of pushing for it, but I don't think this audience is quite ready for my sort of singing. So, you know. Yes. But so I did book a really good band. Luckily, we are in the Southern California area. There's a lot of talent around us. In fact, when I was in soccer in my youth, I had Bruce Springsteen as one of my sponsors.
Wow, really?
Yeah, he sponsored my soccer team.
Dang.
It's craziness of living in LA.
Yeah.
You never know who's connected to whom.
That's pretty incredible. So you had really good jerseys and stuff like that?
I think he just gave $100 or something
Okay.
to the coach who was his buddy in college or something like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You gotta love it.
Yes.
All right. Well, so wait, I just had another question for you and I forgot. I think it had something. Oh no, I was going to mention there's also another car. Didn't I see another car?
Yeah, there's another car. It's a Metropolitan. So it's a really, really small car.
Does that thing float? Is that a floating car?
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
float,
I
but
really
it's
thought it
really
was.
small.
It looks like one of those boat cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's extremely small. I don't know the history of it. We could walk by and see if we can grab a picture of the sign that's in front of it. But they've got it set up like it's in a movie theater. So they've got the food next to the windows, and then they've got an old time people who remember drive-in movie theaters. They have it set up kind of like it's at a drive-in movie theater.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, it's kind of cool. So that's the thing that the guys do at the car shows. So I talked to the gentleman who has the white Fiero over here, and this was a last year, if I'm remembering things 100%. I'm probably gonna get hollered at because my memory isn't like it used to be. But I was talking to the gentleman with the Fiero over here. It was the last year they made the Fiero, and this was all custom ordered. So all of this customization that you're seeing on it, the wheels and the interior, right, that was all ordered from the factory that way because, he wanted a Fiero, and he's been the only owner of this car. So yeah, it's very, very, very nice looking car. And I drove a Fiero once many, many years ago, just not this one. This one looks like it's pretty fast.
Well, and when you look on the inside, it definitely transports you back a little bit, especially if you grew up in the 80s like me.
Yep, it's got a nice wood dash like you'd see if you were jumping to like a Rolls Royce or something. Just a beautiful dash, beautiful interior.
Exactly. Awesome. So what else, Mike? What else do we need to talk about tonight? We have going into tomorrow is the exhibit hall is open, right?
Exhibit hall is open.
What time does that open up?
It opens at 7.
7 a.m.?
7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
You can start off your day here at MSC.
That's right. The only break is from lunchtime from 12 to 1:30 approximately. But other than that, the exhibit hall is open, completely free to the public. Just ask you to register. You get a badge, come on in, check out the goods and services that all the vendors are providing. Come talk on the podcast.
That's right. Come and visit us. I know that having the exhibit hall open is big right now with all the budget questions out there and everything. I know that was an unexpected hurdle. So having it where people, because I know like Ginger's going to be on the show, but she's able to stop in as well because of the being able to pop in on the guest pass. So that's a good thing.
Yep. Yeah, it's one of the things here when you're putting up the exhibit hall, and these are the things that a lot of people don't know, is we pay $100 a gallon for coffee, right? And it's, you think, oh my God, that's crazy. But, they're bringing out all the stands that they're going to put it on. They've got all the coffee cups. They've got, the cream, the sugar, the tea. It's got all of that stuff out there with a nice presentation. So, putting on these events is extremely expensive.
Yeah, they don't just bring out a barrel of coffee for you. And
Yeah. And because we've got, a good amount of vendors coming in here and a coffee sponsor, that makes it very easy for us to reach out to the industry to say, hey, you can bring people in, right, for free, so you can go out and invite your customers to come in. So we got Fluke as a gold sponsor, we got Miatest as a coffee sponsor. All the lanyards here were put together by Indiesoft.
Right. Yeah.
So it's really good to have these sponsors, because they move us from that okay to where we're not making any money, but we're not losing money every year, and that's what's happening with a lot of trade shows. So if you do trade shows, right, you're going to see that they're getting a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller. So we really appreciate the exhibitors and the sponsors that we bring out here.
Well, and there's no denying, I mean, everything relating to travel since the pandemic has been affected. I mean, I remember starting the school and was planning on having a location, and then it's like, well, people can't travel right now.
Yep.
And I don't really feel like it's totally let up completely, especially when it's, I mean, you can speak to this, Galen, when it's budgetary, right?
Yes.
It's like, it always feels like training and that type of stuff is always expendable.
It's the first one to be cut.
Yeah. Yeah, how do we fix that?
Well, I love this scenario. So I love this question of, why do you want to train the guy and he's going to go work for your competitor? Right? And I love the answer to that, which is, well, do you want to not train him and have him stay?
Well, that can, but also if you're, depending on how you're running your place, I mean, that comes back to you too.
Yep.
You're not always going to be the one losing people. You can gain people, and if there's no one out there trained, that kind of makes it hard to.
And pay scale is one of the reasons that companies will, or people will leave a company and go to another one. But it's not the number one. Bad bosses, they cause more people to move. Right?
So, yeah, I think I've mentioned this before. I get all those exit interviews that like places don't get, and it's always managers. I mean, I would say 9 out of 10 times, if not 99 out of 100. It's a manager is a pain in some way or a hindrance, right? Or lack of support. I've mentioned that before as well. There's been plenty of people that leave the industry or leave because they're out there doing cows they aren't comfortable.
Right.
And they have to get the job done, and they're feeling pressure, especially when you got that customer yelling at you.
Yep.
I think you had an episode on this with Henry, right?
We talk about this all the time. It's that proverbial dam wall with all the holes in it, and you're trying to trying to plug it, and we just don't even seem to get past level 1 because we'll train out there, and then people will leave, and then we'll train again. There has to be something done to, I don't know, maintain the workforce.
Well, that's what we want to do. So here, we're definitely about training, and we want to get more and more training. So I don't want to take up too much about next year, but training is going to be one of the key things we do. There's tons of tutorials people can come out here and get, and just the 1 hour classes that we're going to do that are paper presentations. There's a lot of good people here. We got BMEX in from over in Europe.
Oh, BMEX is here? I didn't see them.
Yeah, BMEX they were a little bit late in setting up.
I see.
But BMEX is here, and I've seen his presentations at NCSL. They're phenomenal.
Who is it from BMEX that's here?
I am awful with names.
Me too. No, that's fine. No, that's cool. I'll have to step over there. I didn't even see them on the guest list when I was looking at the booths.
Yep, they're like 3 booths over, but we got BMEX in here. We got a company in here from Germany. So the Miatest is out of the Czech Republic. So we're trying to get more of that international people coming in as well.
Well, the reason I like BMEX is they, excuse me, that they have a huge presence in instrumentation.
Yep.
And I think instrumentation people could be very good metrologists, and kind of vice versa. There's a lot of crossover skills there, you know what I mean?
Well, and that's the thing that's rough, is you don't have to be a metrologist to make a measurement, right? But to understand the science and the errors and how to make, a slightly better measurement, that's when metrology starts coming in. And there's so many crazy things that can come in and affect your measurement. It's crazy. I sit back and I learn all kinds of new things every time I sit back at one of these shows. I'll walk away going, wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, all the time. Or I always say I think every time I gain a new lab that is using sign, I always think, there, I found the last lab. It has to be all of them, and then the new one will pop up out of somewhere, and it has 15 to 20 locations. You're like, how have I never heard of this lab?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just weird how it just constantly grows, and then you go outside the United States and even more, you know. So I do remember that must have been ITS 90 that we had quite a few from, like, actual visitors as well, not just exhibitors from other countries, wasn't it?
So ITS 90 or ITS, this is, an international. And this
Right.
is all the premier metrologists from NMIs and primaries and next generation manufacturers. This is like the top of the pyramid when we did the ITS 10. But when we brought those guys in here, it was definitely an international community.
Yeah, like Australians.
Oh, Australia,
all
New
over.
Zealand.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm just remembering some off my head. I swear there were Australians here, but then also German.
yep.
Yeah.
I think some Japanese.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. International affair.
I've got a great picture. I should give it to you and post it, but it's the poster presentation. So when the shows get big, they've got the 45-minute presentations that they'll do, that they really like your topic. They're going to have you do a presentation in the room, but about, I don't know, 60% of it is going to be just poster presentations where you print out a poster and you stand by it and they come over and talk to you.
Right.
I've got a picture of this guy who's got this his topic was phenomenal.
Hi. It's nice meeting you.
Yeah, good meeting you. That's Sheila
Does this
with
happen
Mog.
all the
She's-
time?
And you never know what's
never
going to
know.
happen on the live on the
She leave
podcast.
lipstick.
No, it looks like you're all right.
So, but the guy who did the poster presentation, I've got this picture of him sitting down on his laptop, and there's like 5 people behind him, like 9 people behind him standing up, and then you can see these heads trying to look through to see what he's presenting on his computer. And I don't know what he was presenting, but I'm like, man, he's got a little crowd of people there. So to me, that was my ITS 10 best picture.
That's nice. So yeah, you'll have to hook me up with that, and we'll put it on the re-edit or something like that.
Not perfect. I had Sita grab me one of these.
Is that the pen?
That's one
That
of
is
the
the
pens.
Here, let me zoom in on that. So if you're just tuning in, if you're hearing the grinding behind me, it's because these custom pens are being made. Okay, come on.
It's the tradition at MSC, just like the cars.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to focus directly on it.
Custom pens from Wooden Blank.
Yep.
The lathe is,
There we go. Now it's in
shapes
focus.
them.
Yep. So he'll start off with
Those
a
are
block
beautiful.
of wood and,
Yeah.
and kick these out. So these are going to be giveaways. So raffle giveaways for tomorrow night at the president's reception.
Yep.
Wow. So here I'll put, so behind me right here. Oh,
Yep.
no, right here. So that's what he's doing behind. What's his name again?
So
Sorry.
John Bowman.
John Bowman. I'm going to mess that up a couple times tonight, I'm sure. Perfect. Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't, I've seen that up before at MSC or at the conference, but I've just never gone by. I've obviously already, usually have people at my booth.
Yep. Yeah, I have one. Sita has one. From coming to the shows, we purchased them, and just come in, and it's a nice souvenir from Measurement Science.
So wait, can you just buy one if you just want one, or is it only through the raffle?
So John's not the one who does this full time. So he's just kind of keeping the tradition alive, and he's just doing a few pins tonight. Do you know how many pins he was planning on?
If all goes well, 16.
Okay.
Oh,
He has 16 blanks, but sometimes they don't all work out.
yeah, I know how that works. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's really cool. And when is that raffle happening?
It's during the presidential reception, so if you come
tomorrow
out,
night.
Yeah, so if you come out and go to training, you're invited to the presidential reception. And part of fun activities is little gambling things for raffle tickets. You're not gambling for money. And then put your raffle into the little box, and we draw numbers throughout the night for various prizes.
Nice. Are you able to say what any of the other prizes are?
One of them is a lovely, I don't know, does that look like a 77-inch TV? It's a TV. That's
Yeah.
our grand prize. I'll say
Oh,
it's
is it behind
77
me?
inch.
Yep.
Yes. Thin.
Oh, it way like over
Yep.
there. Yeah,
It's,
I gotcha.
I got it showing on this podcast right now.
Oh, we're live on the
Live.
TV
Yeah.
over
Live
there.
on the
Okay,
TV.
great.
There's a-
Wow, look at us.
Yes.
We're super official, right?
Yes. So it's a brand new TV. Only has like, I don't know, 16 hours of screen time. And then it will be raffled away.
What size? You said 70?
I think it's 77.
That's a good size
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
You a sports fan?
I am.
What do you like? What do you like watching?
Football, basketball,
See,
Not
football
into
is
baseball,
NFL or college or both.
both. I
Yeah.
prefer college because NFL, they're too professional. College, if somebody makes a mistake, they can take it to the house. Not so much in the NFL.
What do you think about this new NIL though, and all the, everyone able to be a free agent in college?
They got to get paid. Those guys make a lot of money for the schools. So
Well, and the broadcasting, like
Yep.
companies, huge billion-dollar companies are made off of these sports.
yeah.
So the weird question I brought with me to MSC. Now we'll start with Galen. Do you remember your first measurement in calibration? What was the first standard you ever used? Do you remember?
No, I do not.
Mike, do you remember? What was the first
Yeah,
thing
I'm
you ever?
sitting back thinking. So we started off in Cal School.
Right. What was the first thing you touched in Cal School?
So I think the first thing they let me touch after Cal School, right,
Sure.
would probably be the 335, the HP DC voltage standard. So it was a
335. Oh,
Calvin Varley
Yeah, like
set of
a-
resistors. Yep.
Yeah. Kind of like a panel meter.
Yep.
Yeah.
And back then, your calibrator was an AC calibrator and a DC calibrator, and then you'd have fixed resistors or switch resistors,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you wanted to do current, then you'd go take a power supply and a current shunt, right? And then
Right.
you'd adjust the resistance until you came into range on the meter, and then you'd have to go do the Ohm's law calculation.
Okay, so
So-
old school.
Yeah, so we did not have multifunction calibrators. I remember when the 5100 first came out.
Dang.
So, and then I remember 20 years later, labs are still using 5100s as their primary standard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even so, my first one that was a calibrator was a 5700. So that'd have been around for a minute. The 50, because isn't the 50 the old 5100s have the kind of the switch dials?
No, they were, the 5100, if I remember right, had had a keypad input and just a small red interface.
Oh, okay.
So is where you would interact with those. But I remember that we moved from the 335s and the 745s. We moved from those into 5700s, and that was just so cool. One 5-wire connection,
Yeah.
and you could do everything.
And anyone watching that is not familiar with any of these are just hearing a bunch of numbers.
Yep.
Yes.
The old 335 and 726 ones. And do you remember anything yet, Galen?
It's funny because you guys are electrical guys, and I started off with probably dimensional. I remember in school learning like calipers and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I was not an electrical guy at all. So when he rattles off numbers, I'm like, okay, Mike, this sounds about right.
And it's a lot of the military ones, the
Yeah.
old ones that we had. But I remember like putting together gauge blocks in school and stuff like that and being like, this is weird. We had a set in school that were cold welded.
Really?
They left together and no one could get them apart. I
Oh,
think
wow.
you got a 72 or something like that. Like you got a day off if you could break them, and no one could.
My favorite gauge block story is going to Saudi Arabia and going to the Royal Saudi Air Force Primary Lab. And they tell you when you're using a 3458, you've got to leave a 1-inch gap above it and below it, right? You don't want to stack equipment because that'll affect the temperature, which will affect your measurement. So I'm walking through their lab and I'm looking over where they're calibrating their DC and low, and they've got 1-inch gauge blocks. Separating their 3458s. And I'm
Whoa.
like, what are you guys doing? They're like, they were old, broke gauge blocks. They weren't calibrated anymore. They didn't meet specs. So we just thought it'd be funny to set them there.
Nice.
Nice.
That's actually a good idea. Use old ones that are kind of
Sure.
unserviced for something?
Yeah.
Okay, that gives me an idea. I'll have to work on that. Awesome. Yeah, I have a couple questions up my sleeve for the next couple days to throw some of the guests off. And that was the one I wanted to throw you guys. What was the first standard you ever
Oh,
touched?
that's a good one.
Yeah, what's your weirdest cowl? And you get those wobulators and all the other weird ones, the shell ones. Did Jeff Gus make it out this time?
Jeff didn't that I know of, unless he's coming up last minute. But I didn't see him on the Fluke registrations. So, and then the NCSLI, he didn't come out for the NCSLI side of things.
Gotcha. Okay.
I thought he was coming though. I thought the Fluke guys were telling me he was coming later this weekend.
That'll be great if he's here.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
yeah. I have to talk to him about the Metrology Monday or whatever it is. Yeah, it's Mondays. Metrology Mondays.
Yes.
So you know what's another good question to throw the people off?
What's that?
What's the first piece of test equipment you broke, or the most expensive piece of test equipment you've broken?
Yeah. Do you have one off the top of your head? I know I've broken a temperature sensor before with vibration or something like that.
So I remember I was working on a Keysight or HP power sensor, the new E4412s, E4413s, and there was an error in the documentation about how to adjust the linearity. So instead of adjusting it to correctness, I was adjusting it to incorrectness. So I adjusted it incorrect, and then it went pop, and I blew the sensor up.
What blew in it?
The diode. It just completely blew the sensor up. So you can give an E4412 and E4413. You can give them 20, 21, 22 dB, 23 to 24. They're gone.
I got it.
So and when you work in power, there's not that much. I mean, there's a lot of difference because it's twice the power.
Sure.
When you're doing that, but there's not much wiggle room in that 1 dB when you're trying to tweak those things in.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
And I've never seen one take over 24, and I've seen quite a few of them break at plus 23. So I had to get the software right so I'm not blowing up power sensors, because it's very easy to take your power supply, right? So you got your power supply on that's controlling your amplifier, and you turn the RF energy on, and if that energy's too high going into your amplifier, pops the sensor.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, you know what it reminds me of, like, when we're talking about faults that we've created, there's also the ones, like, I've had where, if you have standard wiring that's red and black, and then you have green and white, right? Like, that's a pretty standard
Yeah.
setup in a lot of wiring things. But you can go here in the United States in one place, and that green is a positive signal, and the white is negative, and vice versa. And having those and kind of talking with your fellow worker and be like, it's a 50-50. What can be the harm in that blowing something?
And it's easy to do. So do you have a
Yeah, do you
an
have
item
anything,
you've blown
Galen?
up?
Would you blow up?
I don't remember.
He's only been at Northrop. He doesn't want to say.
I think my boss
That's
is
true.
listening.
Yeah, the boss is tuned in.
He's here.
Oh, yeah, like hiding under the table or
Well,
something.
no, he's manning the booth, but he is
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, we don't want to dime you
Yeah,
out.
there you go.
I
No,
don't
but
know if
that's
he's
a
over
good
there at the TV looking at it.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
wanted to
taking
win
notes.
the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like we're about to. Looks like he's getting ready to make another.
Yeah, it's really cool. The first time I came out to MSC and he showed me this lathe and how they're turning these into pens, I thought, wow, these are so beautiful. It's really
Yeah,
cool, really
until
unique.
Mike showed that one, I didn't know they looked like that. I was thinking it was something a little bit more janky. That's like
Yep.
gorgeous looking.
Yeah.
So one of the books that I read many, many years ago was, talking about, how you want to present yourself in business, right? So, the backpack of equipment and bringing all these things in. But the other scenario is be the guy who comes in with just a piece of paper and a really nice pen.
Yeah.
And that has an effect with, depending on who you're sitting down to. So if I'm doing a computer software demo, I'm bringing in the backpack with the computer and the power supply and all the things there. But if we're going to sit down with a business meeting, I'll leave that in the car and just bring a nice notebook with a nice pen.
Nice.
So-
Yeah. Well, I had noticed, I got quite a few different business cards, and they, were of different quality, and I decided to just go with the nicer premium ones, and I get a lot more comments on them. Yeah, it's just the weird things like that. Yeah, the pens, when they're the nicer pens or whatever.
Yes. So I don't know if this has happened to you yet, but it is one of these great feelings when you go in and talk to a customer and you give them a pin, and you come back a year later and they're still using your pin.
Nice. That's a
And
yeah.
this
That's
is
a
the kind of
flex.
pin that's going to do exactly that.
Yeah, and those are the new
know?
ones, the sign calibration and metrology pen.
Has a nice grip and a little
And it's got the
rubber
little
tip
thing
at
on the back?
That's
Yeah.
a contract signing pen.
You got the medium contract signing pin and the $1 million kind of contract signing
Yeah,
pin.
you bought a house type pen, or we have the NFL draft coming up soon. That's signing your first NFL
Yep.
contract pen right there.
Yeah, something you can put away, keep forever.
So so with tonight, the exhibitor reception happens. And then we mentioned that in the morning it starts at 7, which is crazy. With the breaks in there, does everything close down during the keynote and all that?
During lunchtime, we do close the exhibit hall because people need to eat.
Yeah, if people want to go to that costs money though,
Yes.
correct? Yeah, because it's food. But are they still able to purchase that?
You can purchase a ticket just to go to the keynote, or you can just attend a class, and it comes with the keynote and the president's reception.
Hey, come for a class, stay for the keynote. Make a whole day of it.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll feed you. Don't
Plenty
worry.
of time.
We'll definitely feed you.
Do you know what's on the menu tomorrow? I have my my lunch ticket here. I'm ready to go.
I think it's called the Matterhorn. It
Oh,
is,
yeah.
They do this thing with the chicken. I don't know how they do it, but it's completely deboned except for this little leg thing.
Yeah.
It's a little handle, and then I think it's on a bed of mashed potatoes, some vegetables, and I think it's creme brulee. Don't hold me to that.
Some of that
Panna
Disney
cotta, something
magic.
like that. Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
So I usually don't. I'm not trying to dog on anybody, but normally here at Disneyland, the food's been really good. I'll never forget going to. We're in Dallas. We're in Texas, and we're at the Gaylord, and they have, I think it was brisket or something like that, and they were slicing it wrong,
Oh,
and it
wow.
was
With the
rough.
grain?
They were doing it with the grain. I was like, "What is this? This is Texas. This is blasphemy. You shouldn't be doing this here." So, sorry, Gaylord, on that.
The one thing I have to say is Disneyland, there's places out there that call themselves 5-star hotels, and they're not. This place, Disneyland, to put in a plug for them, they will take care of whatever your problem is.
Yeah.
Right? They will bend over backwards to take care of things. And I'm just amazed all the time. And the food, I cook. I love to cook. Every year I'm here, it's like there's a guy in the back that says there's something wrong with that. We're not sending it out because every dish comes out perfect. I've never had a bad meal here. Never got my chicken to where it's somebody put it in the food dehydrator.
Yeah. Yeah,
Heat lamp for
Disney.
too long.
Yep.
Disney killing it. Yeah, and the usually, we talk about the expensive pot of coffee. There's a lot of hotels that do not do coffee well, and I didn't even think twice about it when I had the coffee here today. So that's always a good sign. When it's not, you're not like, oh, put this down.
Yeah, we should have dropped through and got a picture of the spread. I didn't even think about that, but the food spread that they have just over here, I walked by there. I'm like, I want to eat, but I also don't want a piece of food in my mouth. So I can't
Right, yeah. Well, that's why we're going to take a break in a little bit so that we can eat. But the, oh man, I forgot what I was going to say there too. Because the food. Yeah, because I lost it. So we'll have to move on from the food.
since this is about the training, right? We've talked about all the fun we can have, the food, the pins, and the whatnot. There's some really, really good training here. And, Josh, he's like, okay, we've got all the exhibit stuff done. Can I go to this class?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you should have said something earlier because we're set with getting the exhibitors taken care of.
Oh,
So-
It's
yeah.
all about training. That's
Yep.
what we're about. It's all about the training.
So there you go. Another good reason to volunteer, right? You get a chance to pop into some classes,
Yep.
For sure.
right?
So once your work here is done on the things you need to do, you can pop into one of the classes, sit at the back, and this year we had Helena here. She's going to be on one of the podcasts or one of the
Yep.
things. Her class, I've had 3 people come up to me and say, "Oh my God, this was a great class."
Oh, good.
You know,
good. I
and-
haven't had a chance to chat with her yet.
So
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought that up because obviously tonight is the exhibitors reception, and we're kind of just now talking about what's going to be happening. Now tomorrow we're going to be having some of the not only sponsors but exhibitors over to chat about their products and things like that. I'm really excited about that because obviously not everybody can make it to this. So having a chance to see what everyone's presenting or bringing, and especially we already know there's some announcements and
Yep.
like some new products and stuff like that. So being able to check that out, because we're a weird industry, we don't have things like CES. Like,
No.
do any of these companies go to large consumer shows like that? Like this Fluke?
No, the Fluke has 2 shows, basically, they go to. Ours and NCSLI.
That's it. There's no brand, like parts of Fluke that goes to other ones.
Well, Fluke will hit some of the other shows, but if you want to find about the next generation, calibrator,
Like
rotoscope
metrology
calibrator,
and
whatnot,
stuff, yeah.
that's going to be here. Some of the other shows, they'll do like their network, so they'll go to a networking show because they want to sell their Fluke network products. They'll hit, where they want to sell their voltmeters and whatnot. A lot of times, though, you'll see, them with distributors. So it's not the Fluke people it's the local distributor
I
that's
see.
selling the Fluke products.
Yeah.
So you'll see a lot of them out there.
Because you would think, because some of the shows, I in my mind, I'm thinking of one in particular. I saw that it was like a consumer electronics show. So like one of those that gets like tens of thousands of people walking through it. And they have those FLIR guns, right? The
IR guns.
IR guns. And you're like, that's amazing. And some of them were really cool in the features and everything. You're like, well, I wonder if any of our, the ones that we're familiar with in our industry go to that,
And I was over at the Fluke booth earlier, so if anybody's looking for a reason just to come down here, Fluke has 4 of those infrared cameras that mount on the bottom of your phone.
Oh, yeah.
They're giving away 4 of those at this show.
Giving them away.
Yep, they're raffles. So,
Wow.
but yeah, they're going to give 4 of those away here at the show. And to me, if you're local and you can zip down here and, pop a business card in or be at the at booth raffle that we do, those things are like $400 if I remember right.
Those are not cheap.
Yep.
It obviously depends on their features and stuff like that. Because I have one from like 5 or 6 years ago when we started the school. One of our authors loaned me his, and he doesn't use it, but those things can be handy.
Yep.
If you've got some weird draft or something in your house, and you're trying to locate it, you can find it real quick with that thing.
Yep, go find all the leaks in your house. But yeah, there's some great booth raffles that are going to be out here. There's Miatest is giving away a voltmeter, if I remember right. Isotech has a nice bottle of alcohol over there, a nice,
Like
expensive
drinking alcohol.
bourbon. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
drinking alcohol.
I mean, who knows? Like
Isopropyl.
99% alcohol. Some quality food grade alcohol.
But yeah, gift cards and whatnot. So there's manufacturers that'll come out, with a gift card or something that's very common, and then I really like it when they get something that's local. So the alcohol that's sold or that they're giving away at the Isotech booth is only from their local area. So it's not something, if I remember right, you can go down and grab in the store.
Oh, okay,
Pretty cool.
Yep.
Interesting.
So.
Yeah, I know I promoted it to, I was on the phone with a local lab today, and I told them they should stop on down. So if they come by.
I had a quick question for you. So, did
Sure.
you get any feedback from anybody about the tutorials that people were like really impressed with?
So every year I send a team out here. I'm a manager at Northrop Grumman, so I do send a team out to
Sure.
MSC for training, and I always ask them how's it going, what the feedback is like, and I always hear positive feedback. So we always encourage coming back out in the next year. And we'd like to cycle through the whole entire lab, not just the same people going year after year. And every feedback has been positive so far, and they think it's really good. There's sometimes I get feedback like, oh, this class was too tough for me, but it was still really good. I still, even though I picked up maybe 10% of what the author was trying to tell me, that 10% was good enough that I learned something new that I would have never learned if I didn't come out.
Sure. And that is something that you can run the risk of in a environment like this, that you get into a tutorial that maybe isn't at your quote unquote level, right? Because it's hard. It's hard to produce something for everybody,
Yes.
that is across the board. But yeah, I understand how that goes.
So the NIST uncertainty class every year gets rave reviews, but it's a lot of math too. If you're not ready for math and you're not
Yeah.
ready for this class, you might need to take it a couple times just to fully understand 70% of what the author is trying to tell you.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll just say that we're looking at accreditation paths. Some of those that can be degree awarding and things like that. To do those, some of those require you to have things like that, like math classes and whatever. So, it's courses like that I'll have to touch base with them and see some of those things that that people get hung up on. Because I know how it is. A lot of adult learners, we come into a trade like metrology calibration. Man, it's been a long time since I've been in high school. Yeah, I learned this stuff, but it's been when was the last time I did an algebraic anything or a calculus type thing, right? So sometimes having a refresher course is helpful.
Right.
So I have a follow-on question, and I think I know the answer to this. But when you send a student out to get training or an employee out to get training, do they come back and help train your internal staff?
That's what I make them do. That's the requirement. If I send you out here to get trained, come back, give me a presentation, and let me know what you learned, and let other people within the staff let us know what you learned. What did you pick up? What parts were
Nice.
good? What parts were bad? What parts would you suggest we can improve on in the future? And I take that feedback because I'm on the MSC board. I can take that feedback and directly shape the next year's conference.
Nice. That's good. I like that because you find a surprising number of places that you'll give training and then you go back maybe the following year or something and you're like, oh, did you guys implement that stuff? And like, management doesn't want to pursue that. And it's like, well, this is by the book, how you're supposed to do it. What are you guys doing? And then it's, it can get a little bit tricky from there, a little bit. That's where the bad things get found, right?
Yes.
But things without procedures and stuff
Yes.
like that. So what's on the agenda tomorrow, Mike? Anything of note that you want to point out?
Well, there's a really good presentation at 8:45 in the morning.
Oh, let's hear about it. Who's that?
That's going to
talking
be
there?
me.
Oh,
Oh.
surprise.
That's the one that on the agenda I know.
Is that Metrology 101?
No, this is going to be a model-driven software engineering.
Oh, that one.
Oh,
But
nice.
then
I heard
I'm
the author's
jumping
really
over
good.
to Metrology 101, which gets so much attention. It's just back to the basics. So, but yeah, there is tomorrow. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 classes.
Oh, there's more on the other side,
Oh,
inside.
on the inside. Oh, that's right. There's tutorials
Yeah,
tomorrow as
I
well.
think there's a few
Yeah,
more.
'cause you have-
Uncertainty Continues,
Yep.
and then there's another one. I think that's a 101. Is that, am I reading it right? So there's quite a few
Yeah,
classes
so there's
going on
NIST
Wednesday.
seminars.
Yep.
So Mike Tovey is going to do calibrations and measurements. So starting a new laboratory, right? Expanding the lab. So that's going to be one. Metrology 101.
See, I just some of those topics right there, starting a new lab. I know a few people out there, but they're in the middle of the United States, right? Not
Yep.
close to the West Coast. We got to try and in the future broadcast some of these things because if we could figure out a way for people to do a remote viewing, even if it costs them a few dollars, I think they would be willing to
Yeah.
for some of those tutorials. Just a thought, not to put anybody on the spot. But and then you said tomorrow is the one with Toby, which is it the same one that taught way back when?
It is the same gentleman.
Wow.
Yeah, Mike Tovey. I asked him to come back out.
Did he remember you?
Yeah, he knows me. We
Oh.
talk every year. Hey, welcome back.
Darn.
Yeah. Who
That's
are you?
Tovey's been here exhibiting forever, and if you want to find Tovey, go look in the corners
Well,
because he
maybe we'll have to
always
bring him
gets
in.
that corner booth. So
Yeah, for those of you that have tuned in, we've actually grown in viewership as the hour has gone on. Tomorrow we're starting at I'm going to say about 9 o'clock, because as we saw today, sometimes as everything gets rolling, it can be about 10 minutes or so to get people in the seats. But we're going to be we'll have interview slots every 20 minutes or so with different guests coming in, different exhibitors. So we really want you to, we know many of you are going to be sitting at work anyway. I appreciate those of you that are tuning in this late, especially those of you if you're on the East Coast. But tomorrow, 9 a.m., we're going to be live with sponsors, different guests, some of the instructors, because like Helena, Dr. Stevens is going to come on and talk about, I think about her lecture, but then also some other things. Some leadership things, I think. So a lot of good topics coming up. And what about Thursday? Because Thursday would, Thursday. What are there classes on Thursday as well?
There is. One of the really popular ones is the Intro to Time and Frequency put on by NIST. There's that one's going to be, it looks like a lot of people are really interested in that course.
I should broadcast live from there. No, just kidding.
you'd have to make sure it's on schedule.
And then we still have the hands-on with uncertainty as well as our technical sessions, which are
Hands-on with uncertainty, so it's some actual calculation and stuff like that.
It's a 3-day course, so it started today. It continues on through.
Oh, that
Wednesday,
same
Thursday.
NIST one.
Yes.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry.
Yeah, this is the one that takes a lot of math, and if you're not prepared for
And
it,
it's 3 days long.
it's 3 days.
Okay. Yeah, that could be rough.
Yeah, but
Uncertainty is popular though, because everybody wants to. They feel like it's a big mystery, right? And I
Yes.
think it's just because
they're
we didn't
uncertain.
learn it from the beginning, right?
Yeah, they're uncertain about uncertainty. So I'm trying to.
Isn't
clarify.
yours? Your LinkedIn has an uncertainty joke on it or
It
something.
did, but then I don't know. I got hacked or something. I don't know. That's such a celebrity thing to say. Oh, my social media got hacked, but it really did. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I started sending out weird stuff.
Oh,
my friends
no.
are like, "Who's this guy?" I'm like, "I don't know." So I had to reset it.
Hopefully, it wasn't because of the podcast. We started flooding your
I don't
inbox.
know. Maybe I became notorious because of the podcast.
Maybe. Yeah.
I hear you have a big audience in Algeria.
Is that the one? Yes, it is Algeria. Yeah. We're very popular. We're the sixth best technology podcast.
Congratulations.
Or sixth most popular. I say we're still the best. We're just unknown, you know?
Yeah.
Well, so we're going to, I think we're probably going to wrap up, Mike, because I don't know if it will make sense to do a walk around right now. But we definitely have the roving camera and
Yep.
stuff, and I want to do some booth work tomorrow. Anything else you want to leave us with before we take off?
Yeah, well, for me, it's if you can work it into your budget, get out to the shows. I'm gonna quote Jeff Gust. So, and ironically, in 2020, the first issue we did of CalLab magazine, we had all the reasons to get out to the shows,
Oh yeah.
and then the
remember that.
pandemic hits.
Yeah.
Oh.
But Jeff Gust, one of the things that sticks in the back of my mind is he was talking about why to get out to these shows, and Jeff, when he was younger, he was in all of these training sessions, just consuming the knowledge, and if you want to be the best in the field, you've got to come in and get all these little, tidbits of knowledge that you don't know, and start putting them into your repertoire, and then you can, start doing. I love his Metrology Mondays.
Yeah.
So he's got way more Metrology Mondays
It's
than.
got like 100 and something of them.
Yeah, it's like,
Impressive.
how do you, that's 2 years of work.
He's a busy guy. That's a lot of knowledge he unloaded.
Yep.
Galen, what would you say to? So I've actually spoken with a president of a Cal Lab, a commercial Cal Lab. We won't say who.
Okay.
That when approached about training and training programs, they said we don't need training. What do you say to people like that?
Well, that's unfortunate. I mean, maybe that might have been true in the 80s because we could rely on the military to provide this sort of training background.
Sure.
But that has changed. They don't have the same number of graduates annually. It's gone from thousands to maybe a few hundred on an annual basis for
Yeah.
all the jobs across the United States.
Right.
That's not enough to fill the pipeline of demand for jobs that are out there. And so a lot of people are learning on the fly, and it's, word of mouth. Oh, you do it this way. Why? I don't know. That's the way we've always done it. That's a terrible way to learn because you don't know. I just push the button, And so I think these conferences are so important. It's important to help build up the pipeline of talent coming into the industry. We talked about people leaving. That's okay. At least they get your culture, your knowledge, your expertise, and it goes to another lab. And who knows? Maybe when they're stuck, they can turn back to your old lab and say, hey, I know some experts over there that can help us out with this mess and fix our job. So you're still getting another avenue to get more business from different labs that you didn't realize may have not
Right.
existed before. And so I think training is so important. You gotta train. Everyone needs to learn, from the bottom of the start, those who are starting off their careers, and to those who are reaching the pinnacle of their careers. Everyone still needs to learn.
Oh.
Everyone still needs to grow, and it's so important.
Man, I started the school thinking I was a pretty decent expert, and then you get humbled real quick the more you start to
sure.
learn. And then you're like, okay, I guess I'm never done learning
No,
in this
never
thing.
done learning. You can always grow. You can always grow your career and then grow your contacts and who you know and who can help you out whenever times are tough and can't figure out this one weird problem. And they're like, oh, I know that trick. Let me tell you what my past experience is like.
Yeah. Well, and in a lot of ways, you can find better contacts here for answering those questions than Facebook.
Yes. Or some
Facebook.
random Google answer or random AI answer. That may or may not be right. That's
Oh,
just
yeah.
what was crawled on the internet.
Oh, yeah. If you ever are curious about is AI there yet, myself and Thomas Harper, we put AI through its tests all the time, and it's not quite there with metrology. We've unfortunately we have uncovered that because we're curious. We're wanting. There's a lot of good that can come out of it if harnessed correctly, but we have to put it through its paces and when you start getting into the deeper things, like we were asking at Silver Point, what's the melting point for silver and things like that, and it had like a millikelvin or half a millikelvin off or something, and that matters with a fixed point.
Yeah.
These things are exact. There is no
About
wrong or
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that I would assume that's going to be a big topic. Have you heard a lot about that around here? AI,
I think it's a very hot topic. I think we have one course on that. I think this year, the technology isn't mature enough, but it is a hot topic.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in the next couple of years, that's something we could focus on. But I know there's
Well,
a lot
this
of
is the
work
first year.
people dabbling into it.
Yeah, this is. I was sorry. I was just going to say this is the first year that you can that we have the conference that you can fairly easily build an AI agent, for instance,
Yes.
for your company.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And
it's
I-
right here, 3B. So AI-assisted calibrations and digital certificates.
What's your opinion on that, Mike? You're the automation guy. How could AI help you in automation?
I have an AI that I've stood up at my house because I didn't want to put all of my, IP out on ChatGPT or Gemini. So I stood up an AI at the house. And there's some things that it can do very, very well. But at the same note, there's times that it just hallucinates. It's like
Yeah.
you're talking to somebody with Alzheimer's. There's stuff there, but it's not where it should be.
It's that context window thing. It
Yep.
runs out of space.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because, you hear right now in the news, you can't avoid it. You hear about advanced manufacturing and all this stuff, and it's like I'm in that industry, especially when I was a technical manager. I supported places that did a lot of advanced manufacturing. We have it, but it's it's something we typically would offshore, but it's out there and it's a lot of metrology stuff. And people ask me all the time, what do I think about AI and robots and robot arms and all that stuff? And it's like, eventually there's going to be something there, right? But still, with the things that we're talking about here, there has to be some sort of human verification, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see where that goes.
Yeah, I would put it today as you went down and got a really, really smart kindergartner.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where AI is. If it's
Right now,
really
yeah.
advanced, you might get somebody who's into middle school where you can explain how to do something with them, and then they can do that again and again and again. But as soon as you add a variation in, then it starts going crazy. So there's, people out there, open if you have a Chat GPT account. Go open Chat GPT and tell it to calculate the measurement uncertainty of a 34401 measuring 10 volts AC at 1 kHz, right? And it will give you a very, very good analysis of how it came to its conclusion. And I've done it several times, and sometimes it's right and sometimes it's wrong.
What do you think is causing the incorrect responses?
So the scenario that I use is when the AI is giving you a response. You have your prompt that you gave it, and then it's going to go and generate a word. And when you watch it as it's coming back, it's giving you a word and a word and a word. Then it's thinking and it's giving you a word. Each one of those is taking the prompt and what it's generated so far, and it's going back into the model, giving you the next word.
I see.
So you can see that a little tweak in the model, that next word gets wrong, which makes all the other words
Right.
behind it wrong.
I gotcha. Yeah, because it is. It predicts words.
Yeah, it's just
That's what it
predicting the
does.
next word.
Yeah. Yeah, because for those people, oh, how quick are we getting to where we could be replaced? I don't think, like on-site and stuff like that, that's going to take forever. Like a robot that can go into all the little nooks and crannies and do the on-site cals, that's going to be hard. Lab work, that could be something a little bit more at risk, something that's set up permanently.
So manufacturing, you're doing it again and again and again and again. You can, child labor. We did it in the 1900s, right? So, but you're going to go into a factory floor and they're going to say, go calibrate this wobbler, a wobulator.
The wobulator, yeah.
Right? And AI is just not going to figure that out.
Right. Yeah, all the different nomenclatures and everything. It's interesting. I talk about I'm working on like the Polygon ID and stuff like that, where technicians, their credentials are online and are decentralized. Sorry, on blockchain, right? But another part of that is I would like there to be the same type of ID for equipment. But then, I'm talking like Sandeep over at Metk and all that stuff. Metk. And, he's like, yeah, that's an interesting challenge, because getting all the manufacturers to call everything the same nomenclatures, same, taxonomies. When we start talking about taxonomies, that's going to be, it becomes very difficult.
It's very hard to standardize. Just look at the gum. Right? And that's supposed to have all of I'm sorry, not the gum, the Vim.
Okay.
Look at the Vim, and then look at all the people that aren't defining the Vim correctly.
Yeah.
Not using the terms correctly, and me included. I'm like, what? That's not what I was taught in Cal School.
Guess so. I don't know. I haven't looked at the Vim in a while.
I only poke around in the Vimlock because I teach, so I have to put it in. But yeah, the amount of definitions that are in there, I think people would be surprised. There's a lot more in there defined than you would imagine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, great. So, any last words before we say goodnight for the night? Because we're getting down to pretty much the end of what we wanted to do for the opening night.
Sure. Just my point is, come on now. We're open Wednesday and Thursday. We'll still register you for the classes if you're interested. You get access to the exhibit hall. You get the keynote lunch, and then you get the president's reception on Wednesday. And Thursday, same thing, access to the exhibit hall and the keynote. And then we also have presentations for the scholarship winners, so that's really cool. Really excited that we.
And I think we're going to have the scholarship winner on here,
Oh, excellent!
discussing those things too. So, try and do that either tomorrow or Thursday.
And if you can't make it out to 2025, I know in 2026 it's going to be put on by a really great individual, and there's no pressure at all. So
In a pink Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, you like that. Hey, have you seen who's on it?
No.
It's Stitch.
Stitch.
Oh. Until you just said that, I didn't even realize. Yeah, that's perfect for Disneyland. And if you ever are looking for Mike in the conference, he's always wearing his hat. We can't see it on the camera though, Mike. You got to bring out the old fedora.
Trademark.
Yeah, that's his trademark hat.
Yeah, I started wearing hats like this because I'd go overseas, and in the Middle East, I didn't want to be identified as American, so I thought I could pass myself off as German or Canadian.
Does this work? I don't
Good
think
luck.
so.
Well, so I apologize anybody watching if you've been typing in chat. Our chat is not working, so I can't. If anyone asks questions, I'll bring them into tomorrow.
Okay.
So,
good.
excited to be here, and this should be a lot of fun. So tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we'll say 9:10, 9:15 a.m. Pacific time, we will be live here with some more guests and booth or exhibitors,
Yep.
sponsors, all sorts of fun stuff. So
Come on out to the show. We appreciate it.
come out and see us.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.